Llewellyn, Deputy Leader of Neath Talbot Council, and I will chair today's meeting of Cabinet. Item 2, Chair's announcements. Welcome to members of the public or press viewing this meeting. Please ensure your microphones are switched off. You are here to observe the meeting only. Members and officers, please ensure that your phones are switched to silent for the duration of the meeting and that your microphones are switched to mute unless you are speaking. In addition, when asked to raise your hand, if members who are virtually attending the meeting could raise your electronic hand, and for members physically present, raise your hand in the chamber. Officers, please ensure to verbally add any additional comments from scrutiny committees if this has not already been included in your reports. Please note there is a slight discrepancy between the page numbers printed on the agenda front sheet and the numbers at the bottom of each page. I will be reading out the page numbers printed on the reports. Item 3, declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest? Please, would members say what the items are and what the interest is? Councillor Nia Jenkins.
I'm a governor for Cwmtawe School.
There we are. And for which item is that, Nia? Oh, never mind. Don't worry. Oh, right, okay. Councillor Joe Hale has just joined us. We were just doing declarations, Joe. So do you have any declarations to note?
No, I don't. Sorry, I'm a bit late. I had difficulty signing in. No, thank you.
Oh, there we are. Thanks. So agenda item 4, minutes of the previous meeting. The minutes of the meeting of Cabinet 9th of April are on pages 5 to 10 of your agenda pack. They are before you for approval of accuracy. Any comments from members? No, I propose if I could have a seconder, please.
Happy to second.
Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I will assume that you are content with the accuracy of those minutes.
I see no indication to the contrary, Chair, and confirm that the minutes have been approved.
Thanks, Nadine. Agenda item 5, forward work programme 25 to 26. The forward work programme is on pages 11 to 20 and is here for noting. Agenda item 6, public question time. I have received no notifications from the public to speak at today's meeting. And agenda item 7, West Glamorgan Safeguarding Report, Joint Annual Plan 2025 to 2028. The report is on pages 21 to 38 and is here for monitoring. Andrew, would you like to introduce the report?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I have the Lead for Safeguarding, Chris Fray-Davis. I think he's on the screen, Chair, and he will do a brief introduction to this report.
Thanks. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, members. So I am here to present the Joint Annual Report 2025 to 2028. At the heart of the plan, then, is our collective promise to protect children and adults from harm, neglect and abuse. Hopefully you've read, it's not just a document, it is a living, breathing commitment to safeguarding, and one that we hope will adapt to changes in recognition that safeguarding sadly doesn't come with a pause button. Built into the plan, you'll see the 5 principles: adaptability, collaboration. We recognise we're stronger together, and we've got a junior safeguarding board, so next generation is already on it. Prevention, inclusivity, accountability, because of course good intentions need good outcomes. Our strategic objective is very simple, but I think powerful: to protect and prevent. We're using this time around the 12 C's collective safeguarding responsibility model. I appreciate it does sound like a boy band, but it is actually does provide us with a robust framework for making sure everyone knows their role and then delivers on it. And we've also aligned with the National Safeguarding Performance Framework. So we're not just doing the work, we will be able to measure it and reflect that back to yourself. So maybe think of that as our safeguarding Fitbit, where we'll be tracking progress, spotting gaps, and it'll be keeping us on our toes. You'll see then towards the end of the report, I think we've budgeted sensibly around staffing, training and development, and there is a modest amount for admin because safeguarding does need paper clips and post-it notes. But in short, the plan, I think, is ambitious, collaborative, and grounded in reality, in that doing the right thing the smart way and with the right people. Happy to take any questions, but please don't ask me to put the 12 C's into alphabetical order for you. And I'll stop there. So it's for information only, but happy then to provide updates as we progress with this plan over the forthcoming 3 years.
Thanks very much, Chris. Members, are there any questions? I don't see any. No, I don't see any questions or comments. So thanks very much for the report on this important item of work. Thank you very much. The report is for monitoring, so we will note that report. On agenda item 8, I think, Neath, this was where you were declaring interest, isn't it? Yeah. I don't think Neath has to leave, does she?
Madam, it is as the governor of the school, or one of the governors at the school, that you're declaring your interest, aren't you? It's not a prejudicial interest, is it, madam, do you think? That's perfectly fine. Thank you.
There we are. Thanks very much. It's the Schools Improvement Programme proposal to reorganise ALN provision at Cwmtawe Comprehensive School. The report is on pages 39 to 120 and is here for decision. Rhiannon, would you like to introduce the report?
Yes, thank you, Chair. This is the third time this subject has been in front of members. This is the final report of 3. We asked for approval to consult on the proposal. We consulted and brought the results back to you, and then we held a statutory objection period for 28 days, and this is the report of the objection period. We received no objections during this period, and so the report's been to scrutiny. The scrutiny comments are included in the report, and so we're asking for approval to implement the proposal now in this report. Thank you.
Diolch, Rhiannon. I now refer members to the recommendations on pages 51 and 52. Oh, sorry, members, do you have any questions or comments? I went ahead of myself there. No? Okay, thanks very much. I now refer members to the recommendations on pages 51 and 52 of the agenda pack. I propose, could I have a seconder, please?
Happy to second.
Thanks very much. Any abstentions? Don't see any. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I will assume that you are in favour of the recommendations.
I see no indication to the contrary, Chair, and confirm the recommendation has been approved.
Thank you, Nadine. Agenda item 9, Schools Improvement Programme proposal to reorganise ALM provision at Saeson Comprehensive School. The report is on pages 121 to 196 and is here for decision. Rhiannon, would you like to introduce this report also?
I won't repeat myself. It's the same situation as the previous report, except this is Kevin Syson. Again, went through the 3 stages, no objections to the proposal and no comments from scrutiny either. So this is for approval for us to implement the proposal. Thank you.
Diolch, Rhiannon. Any comments or questions from members? Don't see any. I now refer members to the recommendations on pages 132 to 133 of the agenda pack. I propose, could I have a seconder, please?
Happy to second, Chair.
Diolch yn fawr, Nia. Any abstentions? Don't see any. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I will assume that you are in favour of the recommendations.
I see no indication to the contrary, Chair, and confirm that the recommendation has been approved.
Thanks, Nadine. Agenda item 10, National Resident Survey Wales. The report is on pages 197 to 222 and is here for decision. The report states that it's for immediate implementation, but should actually state that it will be after the 3-day call-in period, just for clarification. Councillor Rogers, don't worry, your moment will come because there's another item for immediate implementation. So before I ask Sheena to come in, I'd just like to note briefly some of the background to this item. In recent years, the Council has given greater priority to the way we engage and consult with residents and other stakeholders. Effective consultation and engagement is important to help us understand people's views and when shaping local services, both now and into the future. And it also helps to help us to make robust decisions. The report before members today outlines a proposal for Neath Talbot Council to participate in the 3 core modules of a national resident survey The survey has been developed by Data Cymru in collaboration with the Welsh Local Government Association Improvement Programme and other local councils. The National Resident Survey presents an opportunity to move to activity that is more focused on residents' views, their views of council services and their local area, and for this to be done in a way that is consistent with many other local authorities in Wales. So that will be the decision that's before us today, and I'd like to call in Sheena.
Thank you, Councillor Llewellyn. I have nothing further to add. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sheena. Members, any questions or comments? I don't see any indications. I now refer members to the recommendations on page 201 of the agenda pack. I propose, could I have a seconder, please?
Happy to second, Chair.
Diolch yn fawr, Ken. Any abstentions? Don't see any. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I will assume that you are in favour of the recommendations.
I see no indication to the contrary, Chair, and confirm that the recommendation has been approved.
Thank you very much, Nadine. Agenda item 11, implementation of a new emergency preparedness policy and 3 supporting strategies. The report is on pages 223 to 386 and is here for decision. And I'd note here that this, if it's approved, it will be for immediate implementation, subject to the support of the Chair of Scrutiny. We'll come to that later in the report. If I could ask Sheena to come in and introduce this report.
Thank you, Councillor Llewellyn. Emma John, who is the Civil Protection and Preparedness Team Manager, is available in the call should members have any questions, but I have nothing further to add in terms of what's set out in the report.
Yeah, sorry, I know. Yeah, do members have any questions for either Sheena or Emma? No, I don't see any. I know the decision, as mentioned, is proposed for immediate implementation. Do I have the support of the Scrutiny Chair, Councillor Phil Rogers?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I'm happy to support the recommendations for immediate implementation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Phil. I now refer members to the recommendations on page 235 of the agenda pack. I propose, if I could have a seconder, please.
Happy to second, Chair.
Thank you very much. Any abstentions? I don't see any. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I will assume that you are in favour of the recommendations.
I see no indication to the contrary, Chair, and confirm that the recommendation has been approved.
Thank you very much. And we have obviously just approved the item. I would just like to mention thanks to Emma for briefings and information that she's given to us as members earlier in this process. This is a very important item of the Council's work. It's not always very visible. People often ask us, well, what does the Council do for communities? And this is a very important aspect that we're keeping members of the communities safe. So appreciation to the emergency preparedness team and everybody that's associated with the report. Thank you. Yes, could I just check with Councillor Simon Noyle if you have any declarations of interest, Simon, because you've joined the meeting? No, that's fine, that's good. Agenda item 12, Regional Transport Plan, seeking endorsement of the Regional Transport Delivery Plan. The report is on pages 387 to 422 and is here for decision. Members would also have received an additional appendix by supplement containing the changes that are proposed. Nicola, would you like to introduce the report?
Yes, thank you, Chair. As members will see in the report, we've been working as a region with the other 3 local authorities in the South West Wales to pull together regional transport. The plan is in response to a change in the funding arrangements. There are a number of different funds that we apply to, and we primarily call them the Welsh Transport Grant. Welsh Government are merging those funding pots and they are going to be steering the money in the future through the CJC, so it'll be managed regionally. So with our colleagues in the other 3 local authorities in South West Wales, we've been putting together a process to establish what priorities that we have in terms of investment in our highway infrastructure. And that's not just in roads, that's in terms of transport interchanges, in active travel, footpath improvements, etc., etc. So there's a whole host of improvement schemes to increase the access to public transport, for example. So we've put together a regional transport plan, and now we're working on the delivery plan. And that delivery plan has identified high priority projects, which will be focused on in terms of delivery, and then other projects which we will be developing for future implementation. That is all spelt out in the report. There is a supplementary document that has been circulated recently, which indicates there's a slight amendment to those projects. So we are going to be removing the Fabian Way drainage scheme because we've secured funding elsewhere to implement that project. And as a consequence of that removal, we've been able to introduce new additional schemes to the list of projects for the MPT area. So they're indicated on the supplementary document, and they relate to integration of our transport ambitions into the place plans that we are implementing with our regen colleagues across the county borough. So the transport initiatives within those place plans will hopefully be funded from the regional transport fund. And they will again link to highway improvements, public transport infrastructure and active travel. That should enable us to have good coverage of improvements in terms of our infrastructure across the whole county borough. So I'm happy to take any questions, Chair, if there are any.
Thanks very much. We'll move on to members' questions and comments. Councillor Neath.
Thank you, Chair. Firstly, I'd like to thank you very much, Nicola and James and the team, for reviewing the regional transport plan to include the Cwm Tawe and Amman Valley areas of the borough. I have had a query from one of my fellow councillors in the area asking for more detailed information regarding the Part 1, Item 1 of the additional, and with cross-boundary active travel linkages. I think I already know the answer to this. With regards to linking Cwm Llynfell, for example, or GCG with Ystalyfera, it would include Powys, and I don't believe they're part of the South West Wales group anyway, so that would be a separate issue. Because Councillor Llywelyn and I've discussed that. So just if you could give any further information on the cross-boundary working and the Part 1, please.
Yeah, we've been working with our neighbours in across the region in Carmarthenshire and so on for some time. The funding arrangements that have previously been put in place don't allow us to deliver joint schemes, or haven't previously allowed us to deliver joint schemes easily, because we're each individually applying to the Transport Fund for our individual projects within our area. We are obviously liaising behind the scenes to make sure they're all joined up, but our priorities in MPT may not correspond with the priorities across the boundary, in whichever authority that is. So this now enables us to have that continuity in terms of infrastructure, which will perhaps extend up the Amman Valley into Carmarthenshire, and the same across the sort of the coastal corridor of Neath, Talbot into Swansea as well. So it'll allow us to do far more cross-boundary works, and that is primarily what we're including within a supplementary document to ensure we've got that greater cross-boundary working. We're delivering cross-boundary projects which we've, had difficulty in terms of implementing previously. Now, some of those schemes are not worked up, so the detail isn't necessarily there that we can give you, because some of those schemes will be development schemes rather than delivery schemes. Just because Powys are not within the CJC area, it doesn't prevent us from working with Powys to ensure, if we're all trying to deliver the same outcomes, that we work together to do that. It's just the way the Transport Fund will be set up from 26-27 enables us to do it better within our region, but it doesn't preclude other people from supporting us. So I'm not sure if that is enough information for you, Councillor.
Yes, I think that's fine. Thank you very much. It's reassuring that we're working cross-boundary with others, and I'm looking forward to seeing all these develop if we get the funding. Thank you.
Yeah, diolch yn fawr am y cwestiwn, Neath. Yes, very relevant question for my area as well. So thanks very much for that. I don't see any other indications for questions and comments, but I now refer members to the recommendations on page 393 of the agenda pack. I propose, if I could have a seconder, please. Any seconders?
Happy to second, Chair.
Diolch yn fawr, thank you, Ken. So are there any abstentions? I don't see any. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I will assume that you are in favour of the recommendations.
I see no indication to the contrary, Chair, and confirm the recommendations being approved.
Thank you, Nadine. Agenda item 13, the annual report 2023 to 2024, the Healthy Relationships for Stronger Communities Strategy, implementing the Violence Against Women, Domestic Abuse and Sexual Violence Act Wales 2015. The report is on pages 423 to 460 and is here for monitoring. Shelley, would you like to introduce the report? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. So I have with me Eleanor Wellington, who is just going to give an overview of the report. Over to you, Eleanor, please.
Thank you, Shelley. Thank you, Chair. So the report today is for monitoring, and this outlines the progress that we've made during 2024 on the Violence Against Women, Domestic Abuse and Sexual Violence Strategy, which within Neath Talbot we've named the Healthy Relationships Strategy because it includes everybody. This really helps us to comply with the Violence Against Women Act that was introduced in 2015 by Welsh Government. That Act makes sure that we, along with the Health Board, produce a strategy that looks at the prevention of domestic abuse, the protection and support of victims in our communities. There is a national strategy, a Wales-wide strategy, so we have mirrored the objectives of that strategy within our own. They are outlined in the report in further detail, but just to give a brief summary, they are communications and engagement, children and young people, perpetrators, early intervention and prevention, training, accessible services and criminal justice. The criminal justice objective is an additional objective. It's one that we felt that, although non-devolved element of the strategy, there are still things that we can do to make some progress in that area, and that progress is outlined in the report. Although this is a statutory requirement of us and the Health Board, it's really important to note that the progress outlined in the report is very much a partnership effort. So it isn't just us, it is our third sector providers, it's various other internal departments, external services. Domestic abuse is such a complex issue that it isn't something we can tackle on our own. And everything that we do does have the involvement of survivors throughout, because they are the people that can tell us, they're best placed to tell us what's worked well, where the gaps are, or perhaps areas that we could improve. This is the first year of this particular strategy, so we do have another 2 annual reports to follow. So any areas that perhaps aren't fully explained will be featuring in future annual reports, some of the larger tasks that we perhaps need to work on over the coming years. But this is really in recognition of the excellent partnership arrangements that we've got in Neath Talbot with our providers. It's been to scrutiny. The contents of the report have been endorsed, but obviously happy to take any other questions. Thank you.
Diolch, Eleanor. Thanks very much. Members, are there any questions, Nia?
Sorry, it's me again, Chair. I'd just like to say welcome this report. We, as members, we benefited from a member surgery just this Monday on community safety, and it's really impressive to see what the group working and how multi-agencies work together. It was really interesting. And I'd like to thank everybody in that team, all agencies, but especially our Neath Talbot staff. So thank you very much.
Yeah, diolch yn fawr, Neath. Thanks very much for those heartfelt comments, and just like to echo that as the cabinet member, working with the team, and tremendous work being undertaken by all members of the team in this field, and such effective partnership working, which, as Elena said, is absolutely essential to gain the outcomes that we need on behalf of the victims. So thanks very much indeed. I don't see any further questions. The report is for monitoring, so we will note the report. Agenda item 14, urgent items. I have received no urgent items. And agenda item 15, access to meetings. The access to meetings report is on pages 461 to 466 of your report packs. I propose that we move into private session. Could I have a seconder, please?
Happy to second, Chair.
Diolch, Nia. Any abstentions? I see none. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I will assume that you are in favour of moving into private.